Hi everyone, welcome to Spenelli Speaks. I'm Danny, and I am here to tell you about what I'm reading in the month of November. First and foremost, thank you so much for watching and subscribing, liking, and commenting on my videos. I've had a lot of fun meeting a few of you who have already said hello, so thank you so much. Most being friends and family, which is really humbling. So thank you so much for joining me. It really warms my heart to see everyone coming together and embracing my new journey. So thank you so much. I'm really excited to talk about what I've been reading and will be reading in the month of November, being as it's been a couple of weeks into November. I have started already. I personally started audiobooks. In my last video, I mentioned that audiobooks are hard for me to read. Well, I don't read them, I actually listen to them, but it's hard for me because I am not an audio learner. I am a visual learner, so I'm better at reading material and being able to comprehend that a lot better than audio. So when I'm listening to books, sometimes I have to actually go back a couple paces and re-listen to a section for it to really click. So it's been a little challenging for me, but definitely something that I'm looking forward to. So when I drive to and from work, I do try to listen to audiobooks. And the first audiobook that I am reading for this month is Sometimes I Lie by Alice Feeney. My mom actually suggested this book a couple months ago for our book club that we do online on Facebook with some friends and family there. And really interesting book. I won't say too much because I'd like to do a proper review for you in another video, but I can tell you if you're looking for an out there experience, take a look. It was interesting, let's just say that. So we listened to that. I actually just finished it yesterday. I couldn't stop listening, so I finished the last 2 hours and had it in my phone on my ear while we were watching TV. I was just zoned in, like trying to concentrate as hard as I could. Very interesting. So that was the first one. I'm actually going to try and download the Mr. Rogers books. What I use for audiobook is my library's Hoopla account. So I don't know if your library does this, but our library here offers Hoopla, which is a service that has books, music, ebooks on there, and you can rent them just like you would books from the library, hardcovers or hard copies. So I rented that book through Hoopla, and I plan on looking into the Mr. Rogers book next. I would like to kind of listen to that before the movie, before watching the movie, so I'm excited about that. All of the books that I'm going to show you today I actually got from the library except for one. One is one that I actually own, a book that I took off my shelf that I haven't read yet. I have a lot of books on my shelf that I haven't read yet. Sometimes I'll go and buy books because I want them, and then they sit there for a really long time going unread. So I'm going to try to get better at that, and hopefully you can hold me to that, hold me accountable. So the first book, which I've started, A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. I saw this on Goodreads. A lot of the books that I come to find are through recommendations. So either Goodreads, friends, family, maybe Pinterest. I tend to find books that look interesting to me or have been mentioned by people that I know. And that's how I come to find that. So this book I saw on the Goodreads, and thought it would be interesting, especially because it's part of a series. And if you watch my last video, you know that I really like books that are part of series. And it's a pretty hefty book, kind of mid-size there. So I'm excited to follow the characters through each of the books, should the first one be good. And so far, I'm pretty excited. I love British things. I love England. This book actually has 3 different versions of London, the city of London. So I'm really excited because it's something I enjoy. Their landmarks that they talk about are familiar to me. So that's always nice when you know pieces of a book. That's always fun. So I'm excited to get reading on this one. And if it's any Good. I got the second one right away so I could jump right in, because that's the worst for me, is waiting for the second or third or fourth book. We all know how that was for Harry Potter. If you grew up in our generation where you were waiting for each book for a year or two, so I don't like to wait. So I'm going to go ahead and read that. The next book that I'm going to read, I actually told my book club that I would read, and I haven't yet been able to get to it. That is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. And I'm excited to read this book. It has an interesting story for me. A while back, I'd say almost 10 years ago, I bought this book to read, and I bought it because I think at the time it was prolific and I was a college student. Everyone told me I should read it. And so I bought it for myself and lent it out to a friend almost immediately after buying it, and that friend never gave it back, and I'm no longer friends with that person anymore. I don't even know where they are, as sometimes happens in college. And oddly enough, last Christmas I ended up getting this as a gift from a coworker. We did Secret Santa, and I was just astounded by the fact that the book found me again. So really wanting to read this. I know it's been now a year later, but I'm going to hold myself accountable and get this read this year, so that I can say that I've read it, and I feel as if I will be different thereafter. So the next book that I have in my TBR list is The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. This book is a young adult novel, and I found this one on Goodreads as well. I like to sprinkle in young adult novels from here to there, because they kind of give you a different perspective, a different kind of reading angles, and I really enjoyed young adult when I was a young adult, and I don't think that that has to change. Obviously, sometimes if the book gets a little bit too involved with that budding relationship, that to me is I'm over that part of my life. So that typically I'll stop reading a book if it's too much for me. But this one sounds like it's pretty interesting, so I'd like to get into that. So this is my young adult book that I'll be reading this month. This book I'm excited to read, The Princess Bride by William Goldman. Very excited as I love the movie, so I'd like to see what the nuances are from the movie to the book. I'm real excited to kind of see where that all comes into play. A lot of people have rated this quite well, so I'm excited to see what that's all about. Then this next book is kind of funny to me. It's not really, I don't think, a popular book by any means. It's called Midnight at the Bright Ideas Bookstore. The only reason why I have this book is because the author, the name is the same name as my boss. So the author is Matthew Sullivan, which is my boss's name, oddly enough. And I thought it would be funny to read a novel with that same name and then, you know, see if he had any same similarities that my boss has. So I thought that would be funny. This is a mystery novel. And it's not too big, so I can probably get through it pretty quickly. But it looked interesting and I thought it would be funny. So I got that one too. This next one is a nonfiction. And I have seen this man on, I believe, Facebook or YouTube or something, where he rants and rants and rants. Matt Balassi, I think that's how you say his last name. It's Everything is Awful and Other Observations. So I feel like this is going to be a pretty humorous pick. I'd love to have a laugh from time to time, so I'm interested in seeing what he puts together. I know from what videos I recall of watching it with him, he is very cynical, very funny, so I'd love to see what he has put down on paper. This last book is something that I did not plan on picking up. Typically when I go to the library, I'll have a plan. I'll have certain books that I'm looking for, and typically I can find about half of them. So this one I actually found on the way to finding my nonfiction book. I was upstairs in our library. It's upstairs is where all of the nonfiction books are. And I was walking down an aisle and this book just caught my eye. Beautiful blue. And it's the Jane Austen cover to cover. I picked it up, and when I opened it up, I was just blown away. It is a book full of Jane Austen covers from like first publication to what it looks like now. And I mean, it goes through different versions of all of her books, the artwork, what it was mass produced with. I mean, this is going to be such an interesting book to look at. I could probably spend all day just looking at all of the different covers that her books have had. I mean, this is just amazing to see how it could come from, you know, the leather bound, you know, books to how they have all this different artwork. It's just so amazing. I'm so excited to look through this. This is going to be something that really just, I'm gonna love this. So I'm really excited about this book. I'll let you know what I think. Especially, you know, it has a lot of the explanation there, so I'm excited to see what they have to say. Obviously, with any of these books that I'm reading, it's all my own opinion, my personal viewpoint on that. So if anything differs, please feel free to write it in the comments. I'd love to interact with you and have that discussion there. And then as well, if you have any other comments, please feel free. Like the video, subscribe, feel free to stick along with me in my journey, and follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I also have my Goodreads available, but that's all for now. I'm really excited to continue this being my second video. Really excited to continue to interact, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.